Yeah, I've seen it all. From corner hustles to courtroom busts. From fast money to feds knocking at dawn. I took bullets, did bids, buried soldiers I called brothers. But I ain't here to glorify it. I'm here to break it down. This ain't gossip. This ain't no rap blog. This is history, straight from the pavement. You tapped into Crime Town TV, where street legends live on in ink, not in rumors. I'm Hank, the voice that survived it all. Now I'm telling it all. Let's talk about it. Anybody that wants to support the channel can cash at me at CHank for promotion. Contact cworld215@gmail.com.
What up, Crimetown TV fam? Tonight, we taking it back to the real streets of New York City to tell the story of a name that still rings out decades later. 50 Cent, not the rapper, but the original, Kelvin Martin, the Brooklyn stick-up kid who made his legend in the 1980s. If you want to know where the name really comes from and why it still means something in the streets, this is the story you need to hear. Let's start at the beginning. Kelvin Martin was born in the Bronx in 1964, but it was Brooklyn where he made his mark. The city was a different animal back then, grimy, wild, and dangerous. The crack era was just heating up, and every block had its own hustle. For a kid like Kelvin, the world was cold, and the only way to survive was to get tougher than the streets. He bounced around neighborhoods, Fort Greene, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy. No matter where he landed, trouble seemed to follow. Folks say Kelvin was small, barely 5'6", but he moved like a giant. He was quick, smart, and fearless. The kind of kid who'd look you in the eye and take what he wanted, no matter who you were. They called him 50 Cent because he'd rob anybody, anytime, even if all you had was half a dollar. For him, it wasn't about the money. It was about the respect, the rep, the message that nobody was untouchable. By the early 80s, 50 Cent was a problem in Brooklyn. He didn't run with a big crew. He didn't need to. Most stick-up kids rolled deep, but 50 was known for moving solo. He'd walk into a crowded party, a dice game, or a corner store, pull out his gun, clean everybody out. Chains, cash, drugs, didn't matter. He'd take it and walk out like he owned the place. Word spread fast. Hustlers started watching their backs, and even the big crews kept their eyes open when 50 was around. He hit dealers, stick-up kids, even the so-called untouchables. He was unpredictable. Sometimes he'd rob you. Sometimes he'd just want to see if you were scared. If you showed fear, you'd never live it down. But it wasn't just about being ruthless. 50 was smart. He knew when to disappear, when to lay low, when to make a move. He played the game like chess, always thinking 2 steps ahead. Cops tried to catch him, but he was slippery. He'd get locked up, do a bid, and come right back out, never missing a beat. He built a legend off of fear and respect. Some say he was a villain, others say he was a Robin Hood, taking from those who had and never backing down from anyone. He became a myth in his own time, a name whispered in the streets and shouted in the headlines. But that kind of life comes with enemies. 50 had beef with hustlers, crews, and even old friends. The streets don't forgive, and they never forget. By 1987, 50 Cent was only 23, but he lived more than most men twice his age. The city was changing, the crack wars were getting bloodier, and the police were cracking down hard. 50 was still out there, still running the same game, but the risks were higher than ever. That year, it all caught up to him. In the projects, in the middle of the chaos, Kelvin Martin was shot and killed. Some say it was a setup, others say it was payback. The truth is, when you live by the gun, the end is always close. The streets lost a legend, but the legend didn't die. After his death, the name 50 Cent lived on. Years later, a young rapper from Queens, Curtis Jackson, would take the name as a tribute, carrying that same energy, that same message. Get rich or die trying, but the real ones know where it started. The story of the original 50 Cent is about more than just crime. It's about what happens when the system fails, when a kid grows up with nothing and learns to take what he wants. It's about reputation, survival, and the thin line between fear and respect. Kelvin Martin's name still means something in New York. It's a warning, a lesson, and a piece of street history that'll never fade. The rapper 50 Cent said it best. He took the name because it represents change, the will to survive at any cost. That's the story of the real 50 Cent, Kelvin Martin. Stick with us, Crimetown TV, for more real stories from the blocks, the legends, and the lessons that shape the streets. Hit that subscribe, drop a comment with who you want to hear about next, and keep it locked for the next episode. Crimetown TV, where the streets talk and we listen.
That's all for today on Crimetown TV. Thanks for tuning in and taking this ride through the real stories behind the streets. If you want more legends, more hustle, and more truth from the block to the boardroom, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Drop a comment. Let us know who you want to hear about next. Until then, keep it locked and stay sharp. This is Crimetown TV, where the streets talk and we listen. See you next time. Peace.